Hi, guys, and welcome back to Correctional Junkie, the podcast about all things correctional healthcare from the inside out. And this is Season 1, Episode 11. I'm Proxy B, sitting in once again for Nurse B. And today's episode, it's not just another conversation, it's a warning. We're talking about hidden predators, the ones you don't see coming, the ones who don't always look like trouble, but leave damage behind anyway. Now let's get into it. What is a hidden predator? These are the people, staff or inmates, who manipulate, exploit, or harm others from the inside. The kind who don't wear orange or carry a shank, but still know how to wound. They're not loud. They're not reckless. They don't scream danger. They whisper it. You don't always see them coming because they know how to blend in. But the damage they cause, that's very real. Let's talk about the types of hidden predators we see, but don't always call out for what they are. First, you've got coercive staff. These are the people who misuse their authority, pressuring people, intimidating them, or offering favors in exchange for silence, control, sometimes even sex. They don't lead with threats, they lead with manipulation. Then you've got manipulative inmates. They know exactly how to read a room, whether it's grooming other inmates or trying to break down staff. They find the cracks and push fast. It's not always obvious at first, but once they have control, they don't let go easy. And then toxic coworkers. This just isn't bad attitude or someone who's hard to get along with. These are the ones who gaslight, bully, sabotage, and smile while doing it. They know how to play the game, and they're often protected by people who learn to look the other way. And here's one more that's just as dangerous, maybe more. Cover-up culture. This is when supervisors or coworkers know something's wrong but choose to ignore it. They downplay red flags, protect people they like, or just say, that's not my business. Sometimes it's fear, sometimes it's loyalty, but either way, it keeps predators protected and victims isolated. The silence isn't neutral, it's permission. And when the culture says keep it quiet, keep it moving, that's exactly what predators count on. So, how do you know when something's off? There are signs. You just have to be paying attention and willing to say, that doesn't sit right. Here's some things to look for. People changing up real quick. Loyalty shifts, attitudes flip, and someone who used to be straight up is suddenly closed off or acting different. That's a red flag. Staff and inmates getting too familiar. The looks, the long conversation. That's weird tension you can't quite put your finger on. Trust your gut. Certain folks getting sudden access or privileges. Someone's moving a little too freely, getting a little too much without explanation. Yeah, that's not nothing. Isolation. If a staff member or inmate suddenly finds themselves pushed out, avoided, or silenced, chances are someone's trying to keep them quiet. Pushback on transparency. If asking questions gets you labeled nosy or difficult, or people get defensive real fast, that's a red flag too. Clean operations welcome questions, shady ones don't. Bottom line, if the vibe feels off, it probably is. So now let's talk about prevention, because calling this stuff out is one thing, stopping it, that's where the real work is. So how do we protect people and shut down predators before they get too comfortable? First, protect your whistleblowers. If people are afraid to speak up, nothing's ever going to change. They need to know that if they report something shady, their job, safety, and reputation won't be the price they pay for telling the truth. Train staff and supervisors to spot manipulation. It's not always obvious. Predators are subtle, so staff need real training on what grooming looks like, how emotional manipulation works, and how to respond when they feel something's off. Don't just hand out policies. Teach them what these behaviors look like in real life. Set boundaries and enforce them. We talk about professionalism all day, but we need to model it too. Enforce clear boundaries between inmates and staff. No blurred lines, no favors, no playing cool with people who report to you or who you supervise. That's where mess creeps in. Create real systems for reporting that are safe, anonymous, and taken seriously. If it takes 5 steps and a chain of command just to log a concern, people won't bother. Make it simple, make it confidential, and most of all, take it seriously. And check your cells regularly. Audits, reviews, anonymous feedback, unannounced walkthroughs, not to punish, but to stay accountable. If the culture says don't ask, don't tell, predators thrive. You've got to build a culture that says, we see you and we're not afraid to say it. This isn't just about safety. It's about culture, because what you allow becomes what you are. I want to close with a bit of poetic reflection. In the land of locks and keys, not all threats come on their knees. Some wear kindness like disguise, while truth dissolves in silent lies. But even shadows fear the light. So let us stand, expose, and fight. Well, that's it for today's episode of Correctional Junkie. I'm Proxy B, and I want to thank you for holding space for the hard truths with me. Whether you're on the inside, working floor, or watching from the outside, remember this: silence protects predators, but truth sets people free. If this episode gave you something to think about, share it with a colleague, subscribe wherever you listen, and follow us on Instagram at Correctional Junkie Podcast for more behind the scenes and real talk. Nurse B will be back on shift real soon, but until then, keep showing up, keep standing strong, and keep doing this work that matters.